So if you're anything like me, you are completely priced out of the GameCube market. The GameCube right now is the hot system. When it comes to collecting, it's the big system of the 6th generation. Its games have gotten super expensive. However, say you're priced out of the GameCube market, luckily I have most of the games I already want for the system. There was like 4 stragglers I kind of wanted. I'm not paying those prices for the games. Period. End of story. I guess the question is, how was I able to get most of the games I wanted for the system for cheap prices other than random lucky thrift store finds? Well, I got in on the system before it was the trendy thing. So I'm looking at the 7th generation consoles here. And I'm going to make my predictions for what the hot collection system will more than likely be. And looking at the PS3 market, you can see that there are some games that have already gone up in price, like 3D Dot Game Heroes on the PS3, which I own, and there's a Kirby collection on the Wii that has gone stupid expensive. But when it comes down to it, this market is still mostly open. The generation that grew up on these systems isn't quite old enough, or they're getting just old enough to come back and be like, you know what, I miss the Wii. I want to play the games I had as a child. So right now, even looking at the Wii market, it's actually pretty amazing. For official Nintendo games, they're about where the N64 used to be before that was the hot console. Mario games and Zelda games are all about $20 on the system, give or take 20 to 25. When the N64 wasn't the hot button system, Mario Kart and all those, they held their value at about $20. So right now, the Wii has the old average Nintendo pricing. The thing with the PS360 is a lot of the big name games on them are also still available on Steam. So there are some games on each system that will go up in price because they're more rare, they're not available on Steam, they're more sought after, or they'll be discovered by more people and be more sought after. I think that the system that is going to be the next one to go stupid expensive with some of the games is the Wii, and mostly because us hardcore or quote-unquote core gamers at the time of the Wii's release pretty much ignored the system. It's like, well, there's Mario and then there's iCarly and Project Runway, so the Wii was the system that had the stigma of being the shovelware system, and rightfully so, it did have a lot of fill-in-the-blank games to make money. Hidden amongst the quote-unquote shovelware on the system are some really good games. Core games, if you will, for the core gamers or the hardcore gamers out there. My prediction is the Wii is probably going to be the one whose library goes up the most once people start discovering it more or paying more attention. So if you're the collector type or you just want to find a bunch of really good games that you want for a system, right now, first of all, is the time to get in on all 3 of these systems. That's how I was able to get so many GameCube games, so many now sought after, crazy expensive GameCube games before they became that price. Was at a time where these systems weren't a huge focus and their games were coming out in dirt cheap. There's still a lot of great titles on all 3 of them you can get for real cheap now. Some that will probably stay cheap for years to come. But I think the surprise market is going to be the Wii, because once people start getting more into some of its not Nintendo made but good third-party games, a lot of those games are probably going to skyrocket up in price. It's a cheaper market right now, and now is the time to get in on the Wii, as far as I'm concerned, because that's what I've been doing. I've secretly been buying the games I want for the system, the core games, if you will, or hardcore games, or the traditional game styles. Twilight Princess is like 13 to 20 bucks on this system. Meanwhile, I saw it for 150 bucks on the GameCube version a while back on eBay. So the very version I have with complete and everything, I could sell for $150 to the GameCube people because the GameCube was such an underrated console. The good thing about the GameCube being so expensive is that a lot of PS2 and Xbox games have gone down in price, so you can still find usually like the Xbox version of a multi-plat game for cheap. Sometimes even cheaper than the PS2. In fact, sometimes the Xbox version is the cheapest. So, simple point is, right now is the time to buy the games you wanted for the PS360. This is the time where the games are the cheapest you're going to find them. Actually, they're starting to gain up in price. Previously, it was a better time, but right now is still a great time to get in on this system before the kids who grew up with the Wii. Traditionally, it's the Nintendo consoles that have games that skyrocket up in price, outside of, RPGs on the PS1 and certain other rare, obscure type games. And I'm enjoying the weird games I found on the Wii. The, traditional style gameplay, yeah, you have the Wiimote controls, whatever. It's just a different way to control them. You get used to it. You know, I was never a big fan of the motion control gimmick. I found some actually really fun, underrated games that the vast majority of gamers overlooked because they just didn't care much for this system, because at the time you're busy with your Call of Duty on the PS3 60. So there's a lot of games in the Wii's library that are actually pretty solid, and they're pretty cheap right now. This is the window to get in on it. I'm not trying to up the price of Wii games. I've got a small channel. I doubt even 1,000 people will ever watch this video. But those of you who do, if you're looking at collecting, or if you're holding off on getting the games you wanted to play on any of these systems here, the 7th generation, my suggestion, get in on it now, because they're only going to go up in price from here. Again, you'll always have your standard games that are always $10, $15, $12, whatever it is, but there will be some that skyrocket up in price. And hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully there is no more GameCube type thing where all the common games or all the best known games go stupid expensive up in price. But if there is going to be one during the 7th gen, I'm going to stick with the Nintendo theme and say that it's going to be the core games on the Wii that most of us overlooked when the system was alive that are going to go stupid expensive up in price. And so there you have my final prediction, is the Wii will be the hot market, PS3 will be the second hot market, or maybe it'll be the hot market, and 360 will always be your value market. That's my prediction on it. Either way, right now is the time that you want to get in on these games, because they're only going to go higher and higher in price as time goes on. As the kids who grew up playing the Wii 60 get older and get more expendable money, the market will skyrocket in price, more than likely. So, for the next hot market, probably Wii U actually, but out of the 7th gen offerings, I'd say the Wii is the system that you want to get the games that you want for it right now. PS3 number 2, and the 360 will be the bargain system. And even if my predictions on which system is going to be the hot system are wrong, what is true is right now is definitely the time to get in on collecting the games you want for these systems while they're still more affordable. There'll never be another time where they'll be as cheap as they are right now. I can tell you that one. That's a prediction, but that's usually the history of collecting games for older consoles. There's that little window of time where they're cheap, but after that, good luck finding any of the more sought-after games for these systems for a reasonable price. Again, this is the time to get in on these systems. Their games are cheaper right now, and they're only going to go up in price.